This is the second part of the lesson introduction. Let me start by answering some questions. Who are the Ascended Masters? In simple terms, an Ascended Master is an individual who once was embodied here on earth and gained mastery on this plane. He learned his lesson, he became more godlike, and therefore did not have to come back into embodiment. Then, after having ascended to his spiritual body, called the I Am Presence, the Master made the voluntary choice to remain and help mankind. The Ascended Masters are real and tangible beings, ready to assist mankind, provided they are asked to do so. The Masters ask to be recognized as a potential force for the common good of mankind, but they do not demand obedience, and they do not ask to be worshipped. What is the bridge to freedom? It is the organization through which many dictations were given forth by the Ascended Masters in the 1950s. This teaching shows how to fulfill the reason for being by achieving the goal of all life, the ascension. In addition, the teaching explains how the students can cooperate with Ascended Masters to further the progress of all life on this planet. These are the original teachings that our Master Jesus taught, and if you listen to the inner voice in your heart, there will be a confirmation that this teaching is based on truth. These are the words of the Ascended Masters, such as Jesus, Mother Mary, Archangel Michael, Kutumi, who formerly was Saint Francis of Assisi, Moses, Mahatma Gandhi, and Confucius, all speaking with one voice. Therefore, there's nothing mysterious about this teaching. Simply put, it is identical to the teaching that Jesus taught, and His Blessed Mother Mary recorded it. The Masters call this teaching the New Age Bible, written for generations yet to come. Another question, what is the occult law? We can consider ourselves fortunate indeed that in 1930 the cosmic being Victory set aside the occult law. The occult law had prevailed from the time of Atlantis to 1930. No longer are the Ascended Masters restricted to explain their teaching by means of mythology, legends, allegories, or veiled information. Even Ascended Master Jesus was subject to the occult law. Another question. Why do you believe in re-embodiment? The arguments for re-embodiment are many. To start off, does it not make sense that an individual who committed a wrong action should be responsible for such actions, rather than have someone else carry that burden for him? Is it not logical that a loving God will give another chance to right the wrong committed during a previous embodiment? Also, how can the actions of a prodigy be explained? A person who at the age of 10 composes entire symphonies without previous training? Does this action not point out that this skill was obtained as part of a previous embodiment? Most of the Earth population believes in re-embodiment. The Christian religion of today is one of the few who does not. Several researchers believe that the doctrines of karma and re-embodiment were removed from the Bible during the councils of Nicaea and Constantinople. Another question. Who should be the leaders of tomorrow? First, let us discuss Christian churches and the Bible. Who is best qualified to lead the human race out of its present bondage? Who should direct the effort to create one nation under God, the group activities and the research centers the Masters talked about? Should the leaders of today be the leaders of tomorrow? Jesus said in 1930, the churches have had the opportunity for 2,000 years to set mankind free. Yet the people have grown into greater and greater bondage. Observe my experience in leaving the example of the ascension to mankind. How little good it did. 300 years afterwards, the great truth was so obscure that mankind scarcely understood anything about the achievement of the example which I left. Instead, there was concentration on the crucifixion. There was always this vicious force in the world which wanted to destroy the light. The Ascended Master Bob Singletary stated in 1938, because of the many translations, the Bible is hardly recognizable compared to what it was in reality in the beginning. Everything suffers through translation, for human opinions are always imposed upon the original. During Cortés' conquest of Mexico, many bishops destroyed every scrap of historical writings they could find. Bishop Landes' stay in Yucatan and his fanatical destruction of all Mayan records caused an irretrievable loss to mankind's intellectual advancement and to mankind's progress in general. The only source of reference for these lessons are the dictations of the Ascended Masters as given by the authorized messengers Geraldine Innocenti and Guy Ballard. These dictations may agree with the Bible and they may not. This teaching stands on its own. Now, what about modern science? Let us take a look at what type of leadership we might expect if we follow the teachings of modern science, including our conventional historians. According to our historians, about 7,000 years ago, some nomads and hunters gave up their clubs and moved from their caves and tents. Primitive tribesmen suddenly became skilled and created a miraculous city-state in the Mesopotamian valley. They constructed astronomical observatories, charted the stars, accurately built some pyramids, temples, and modern homes. One must ask, going back, they constructed astronomical observatories, charted the stars accurately, built pyramids, temples, and modern homes. One must ask, where did cavemen, hunters, and food gatherers obtain this sudden knowledge? How does modern science explain the stone blocks at Baalbek, Lebanon, found to be 60 feet long, weighing up to 2,000 tons? No crane of today is able to lift such a weight. The stones were beautifully shaped and had perfectly square corners. After 50 years of research, the German archaeologist Poznański concluded that the city of Tiwanaku in Peru was at least 10,000 years old. Professor Goodman of the University of Arizona states that the only reason archaeologists ever investigated Atlantis was to disprove the belief that there ever was such a continent. Does this sound like a search for enlightenment, new knowledge and truth? Commenting on the efforts of modern scientists, Mark Twain stated, "There is something fascinating about science. One gets such wholesome returns from a trifling investigation of facts." Clearly, our established churches, as well as the established leaders in the field of science, have failed us in providing enlightened leadership. They were given opportunity after opportunity. They have been found wanting. Enlightened leadership should acknowledge God as the creator of all life, and enlightened leadership should be free from personal ambition and a desire for personal power. Therefore, since both the Orthodox churches and modern science are unable at this time to provide effective leadership, we must look elsewhere. This brings us up to the question, who is best qualified the leader of tomorrow? The Master stated that students of the Ascended Master teaching are best qualified to be the leaders in the Golden Age. They are the ones who know best about life and the laws of life, and how to deal with the difficult situation the earth is faced now. They are best equipped to restore the sacred relationship of true religion and true science, which were thought of as one during ancient times. Without the assistance of the Ascended Masters, there would be no hope for the world. With the assistance of the Ascended Masters and a sincere, determined effort of a few of their disciples, a new beginning leading to a permanent Golden Age has to be made. These 16 lessons are intended to be a step in this direction. They are designed to help individuals seeking truth to free themselves from the bondage imposed upon them by the leaders of established churches and other institutions of learning. They are designed to help you discover the God-given abilities that are within you. Always acknowledging, however, in true humility, the source of that power. Here then is the summary of Lesson 1. Through the effort of only 2 individuals working as a team without any outside help, the 6,000 pages of the original Bridge to Freedom teachings have been saved and they have been republished. 2. The AMTF books contain all knowledge necessary to make the ascension. The 16 YouTube lessons contain the highlights of these books. 3. At the very first embodiment on this planet and every succeeding embodiment, every one of us promised to make a personal effort to widen God's kingdom on earth. After the end of these embodiments, we were to make our ascension. 4. Now that we have been handed the necessary tools to make the ascension and fulfill our promises, does it not make sense to take the opportunity offered to us and start on the path to the ascension? 5. The Ascended Masters have promised to help us, provided we make the necessary self-effort to balance their energy. 6. Here's an outline of a recommended study program. A. Listen to these 16 lessons. B. Supplement the knowledge contained in these lessons by ordering the books which are the basis of these lessons, listed at the end of Lesson 16. If after reading these books you are ready to commit yourself to the teachings of the Ascended Masters, send in an application for membership in the AMTF. See the website www.ascendedmaster.org. That's www.ascendedmaster.org. D. the members of the AMTF and Grupo Serapis Bay in Panama welcome with open arms those individuals who commit themselves to the teachings of the Ascended Masters as giving through the bridge to freedom. Additional information on this subject will be found in the book Man, His Origin, History and Destiny and in Lesson 16. This completes part 2 of Lesson 1. I hope you enjoyed it and that we will meet again for Lesson 2, which is entitled Memoirs of Jesus and Mother Mary. God bless you.